Hey everyone, welcome to Data Millennials. I am Atul, and in this video we are going to learn how we can apply or use case in calculated field in Looker or Google Data Studio to check for inequality. So as you can see over here in my table, I have the column which says auto part and other branded auto cloth line, right? But if I will show you the raw data source, you can see over here that we do not have any column named as auto part or other branded auto cloth line. We just have category over here, and from this category we can use the case statement to create new columns such as auto parts or any other column based on your requirement. So a common use for case is to create new categories or grouping of data based on the inequality of your data values. For example, to group the selected category of items into a category type, we might create a case expression. So in this video we'll create this table, and then we are going to apply or use the case statement in a calculated field in our table as well as in our chart from scratch, so that you can get an idea when, where and how we can apply the case statement in our Looker report or dashboard. So before we apply that, let's understand about the case statement a little. So case is a conditional statement which evaluates a list of conditions and returns the first matching result expression. Case defines one or more conditions and returns a result when a condition is met. You can define a default result if none of the condition is met. So let's go and create this table as well as this graph by using the case statement in a calculated field where we will be grouping data based on the inequality of our data values. So the first thing that I'm going to do over here is that I'm going to click on edit, and then I'm going to add a new page over here. In this page we are going to replicate this graph as well as this table. So let me copy this header from here and put it into the second page. Let's increase the size of this one. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do is that I need to read my data into this report. But as I have already created this graph and table from this data source, I don't need to read it because it's already present in my report in the background. But if you want to add a data, you can click on add data, and then from these connectors you can import your data into your Looker report. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a table over here. So if I come over here on add a chart section and select this table, then Looker will allow me to add a table. The moment I add a table, you will see that the Looker has selected a by default data set for me, which is present in this report in the background, and this data is GDS67, which I have shown you over here, right? So this is GDS67, which I'm going to use to create or replicate this table as well as this graph. So when I selected this table or created this table, you will see that we have dimension as category and metric as record count. But if I come back to my page 1, I can show you that in this table we have date and we have two columns, auto part and other branded auto cloth line, right? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a calculated field using the case statement in our data, which will basically group the data or group these categories into auto part or let's say non-auto part. Okay, so I'm going to click on add a field, and over here I'm going to give my new calculated field name. So suppose I'm going to give the name as classification, and in this formula section I'm going to give the case statement over here. So the first thing within this case statement is that we have to give the case keyword, and then we have to give a when condition. So we are saying that when category is not equal to this specific category, which is category 3, then put the new classification, which is auto parts, and then we are going to give a else condition saying that else take all the other categories and put it into a group named as other branded auto cloth line. Okay, after this we are going to give the end statement, which will specify or which will tell Looker that this case statement has ended here. Then we are going to click on save, and we have to click on finish. The moment you click on finish, you will see that you have a new column named as classification over here, and if you drag this classification and put it into your dimension, then you will see that you have two unique or distinct classification. One is auto part, second is other branded auto cloth line. Now if I go to my page 1, you will see that we have these two unique group as a column. So what we can do is that we can create another two new column with the help of case statement using the inequality to get the unit cost of each other. Okay, so again I'm going to click on add a field, then I'm going to give the name as auto parts cost, and I'm going to give a case statement over here saying that case when classification, my new column which I created just now, is not equal to other branded auto cloth line, then you have to take the unit cost, oh, my mistake, or unit price, else you have to take 0, and we are going to end this statement. So what this case statement is doing, that it's checking whether the classification is equal to other branded auto cloth line or not. If it is, then it's putting the value 0. So if you think about it, you are basically calculating the cost or the unit price of auto part, because there are two distinct values in our classification. The first one is auto part, the second one is the branded auto cloth line. So we are saying over here is that if the classification is not equal to this, then take unit price, and this unit price is auto parts unit price, and that's why we have named it as auto parts cost. Then we are going to click on save and finish. Now we can drag this auto part cost and put it over here in our metric, and we can remove this classification from here. Now the next thing that we are going to do is that we are going to calculate the unit cost of other branded auto cloth line. So for that we have to give a condition saying that the new classification should not be equal to auto parts. So I'll click on add a field, then I'm going to say other parts cost, then I have to give the formula over here, case statement, case when new classification, or sorry, when classification is not equal to auto parts, then take the unit price, else take 0, and end this case statement. Then again we are gonna click on this save and click on finish. Now we have other part cost, and we can put it over here. Let's remove the record count. So we have auto part cost as well as other part cost. We have to remove this category and take date, and then we are going to sort this date, sort this table by date in ascending order. Okay, now the same thing what we are going to do over here is that we are going to replicate this graph over here. So we can come to add a chart, then we can select any of the chart based on our requirement. So let's select this smooth line chart, we'll put it over here, and then we can directly take this other part cost and auto part cost. Now if I go to style and change the series color as well as put show points and show data level, similarly for series 2 we can select show data point and show data level and change the color as black, then you will see that somewhat this graph looks like this, although we have a different time range selected over here in the filter. As you can see in the filter I have selected year month filter, so that's why this graph doesn't exactly look like the graph which we had created just now. But by this way, you can create a new column using the calculated field and check for the inequality using the case statement in Looker or Google Data Studio. So happy learning and see you in the next video.